welcome the first panel. John Chambers, Executive Chairman of Cisco Systems, 2016 Edison Achievement Award winner. Marty Travers, Executive Director and President of Telecommunications at Black & Veatch and a sponsor here. And Amy Huntington, President of Philips Lighting. Three very exciting people. To have smart cities, John Chambers, do we need smart countries?
I think the overall concept of digitization will completely transform every country, every city, every business in the world. It starts most effectively at the country level, where Modi in India says we're going to do this across the entire country. We're going to make it inclusive, job creation. We're going to do 100 cities at a time, 248,000 villages. However, some countries are not as far as long on this thinking. The U.S. is behind. And in the U.S., it has to be smart cities first, because our government, for whatever combination of reasons, is the only government in the world that does not have a digital program. Both work. I think it works better with the bigger picture than exploding it down to states and then to cities. But right now in the U.S., it's cities where the action is.
Amy, are the limitations at the federal level standing in the way of you getting things done at the city level in the projects that you're involved in?
I think I'll frame this up because you're probably wondering, what's the lighting play in a smart city? Well, we're in the 6th technological revolution in lighting, starting way back with incandescent, different light sources doing things better. But now with digital light, it's about a new use case for lighting. So I would say that it's really about proving out the benefit to those engaged citizens that expect more and want more from the cities, and then having, whether it's a bottoms up and a top down, make things happen. But I'm a building block in smart city. So with street lighting, LEDification of street lighting, it's a component that can enable a broader play for smart city.
LEDification, that's not L-E-A-D, right?
No.
Right, okay, so LEDification, that means LEDs everywhere. But that's not just about light, right?
Right. Right.
So tell me, besides light, what is it that your networks either take or give to the system?
Well, I think it's exciting because the lighting infrastructure no longer is in place just to deliver functional light. Each light fixture on top of a light pole becomes kind of a point for information to pass through. So sensors can sense the conditions around, a cityscape, send information back to a smart brain, act on that information, collect data, but we can also control lighting, the right level of light when you need it, where you need it. So again, it's this notion of digital light and the promise and potential of digital light. There's probably no better showcase than within a smart city.
How many innovators does it take to change a lighting system in your experience?
Good one.
Yeah.
It depends on which country.
Marty,
I heard it was $350 in Chicago.
You actually know the answer. Marty knows the answer to that. Is there a retrofit job that is too ugly for you to touch, Marty?
No, and Amy mentioned, certainly not to be direct, but Amy mentioned that lighting is a building block, and what we enjoy doing at Black & Veatch is putting all those different building blocks together. And it might be lighting, it might be IT equipment, it might be replacing phone booths, it might be making water pipe networks smarter. And I think that's what's fun about smart cities and the Internet of Things, is assembling those building blocks in a way that builds a business case that supports the growth of cities incrementally getting smarter and smarter.
How much of an advocate do you have to be to the point of where, and I'll use an example that is in the news, and this is not to cast any responsibility on the part that's being worked out in the headlines. Is there a role for an engineering firm to be almost a social advocate, to anticipate what happened in Flint, for instance, and go, folks, you need to do this? How would you have handled that if you were all powerful?
Right. Well, I think it all begins with having a well thought out master plan. Begin with the end in mind. What are you trying to accomplish, and how do you anticipate what kind of problems might come up? And the way we typically do it is by long range planning and anticipating those next events. And you can do predictive analytics. That's one of the features of having all this connectivity, is doing predictive analytics on the what if cases of what would happen if your water source changed and the chemistry changed. And if you have the data, you can anticipate those kind of problems.
You know, this is where it all ties together, and this is where Amy, Marty, and I are in complete agreement. You basically move from connecting 1,000 devices to the internet when Cisco was founded in '84 to 14 billion today to 500 billion in 15 years. That means it's going to change your life expectancy of how long you live. It means you're going to change your education system. It's going to completely change business processes. You bring it back to the city level, it's going to change every aspect of your lives. It's going to determine which cities are the areas that startups will occur in. It will determine which cities have major traffic problems. It will determine do you deal with your parking issues. It will determine your security from a terrorist activity or the ability to monitor a water supply or electrical supply to see that you have a problem or an attack coming at you. And so this is why I believe the next 20 years in innovation will dwarf all of history to this point in time. And founding what Edison does very well, how we as, quote, innovators take these concepts from ideas to research and then commercialize them not over 10 or 20 years, but in 2 to 4 years. You tell a mayor, I'm going to help you get your city go real well in 10 years. Their life expectancy is 2 to 4. They're gone. And this is where public-private partnerships, companies working together are the thing that has to happen. That's where Amy, Marty, Cisco, we play together as a team.
Well, we all talk to a lot of mayors, and whether the city is large or small, they all want the same things. They want their cities to be safe. They want them to attract investment. Citizens expect more. They want them to be beautiful. So they all have this same set of core drivers that drive them to some of these common solutions.